I have a piece of baseball bat blank, so I just cut it with the chop saw. It's 3 inches in diameter and probably, I'd say, about 7 inches long. So I'm truing it up with a spindle gouge, and then I will put a tenon down on each end. So we need a tenon for the base of the lidded box and then a tenon for the lid. So then I'm just going to shape it, just kind of give it a little pod shape here. And again, I'm just using the spindle gouge, and this is just a rough shape at this point, and then we're going to part off the lid from the base. So I am using the threaded rings, so I'm going to use the calipers to size that little tenon right there in the center. And then we'll put the chuck on and drill out the 1.5 inch hole. I'm just getting that little spot there cleaned up, and then I'll use the Forstner bit here in just a sec. So this is an 1.5 inch Forstner bit. So I'm just going in with that to put it back together and then do the final shaping on it. Because when you part it off like that, the lid is going to be a lot smaller than the base at that point, because you're taking some of the material out. So we need to reshape it. Just put it right back in there, and you can see how much smaller it is. I did want to mention that we revamped our Etsy store, and we're putting the projects back up on there. So I will have a link down below in the description if you want to go check it out. And this way you can, it's all one piece right now, and you can see exactly where everything is and get it shaped and smoothed over nice. So I'm going to use the beading tool to put some beads on it. And I want to keep it together so I know exactly where the beads line up. So I will get all of those done, and then we'll burn in between the lines. Help support the companies that support our community. So, and this is the D-Way beading tool. I will put a link down below in the description for it as well as all the other tools I'm using. So this is the wire burner. So I'm just burning in between each one of those beads with this. Just kind of hold it on there till it starts to smoke, and then move on to the next one. This is kind of going kind of fast, and the dust collector's on, so it's sucking a lot of the smoke away. You really can't see it that much, but it does smoke pretty quick. Then we'll go ahead and hollow it out. So what I did is I put the Forstner bit back in there, which I should not have done. So we are going to do a design change. At this point right here is when I realized I shouldn't have kept drilling, and I'm in my head trying to figure out how I am going to fix this little mistake. So we'll come back to that. I went ahead and hollowed it out with the #1 hollower. We will come back and fix this little mishap. And it actually worked out better than I could have imagined, because it makes a nice accent ring. And in fact, I'm probably going to adapt this as far as the lidded boxes or the rings go from now on. This really sets it off, and I think it's going to be much easier. So what I'm doing is oversizing the hole. And I'm going to turn a little walnut disc here in a second. So it is going to be a nice little detail. When you unscrew this box, there's going to be a walnut ring around the bronze ring. So this is just Titebond 2, a little bit of wood glue in there. I went ahead and turned the walnut disc, and we'll just pop that in there and let it set up for about an hour, and then come back and make the little shelf for the threaded rings. So it really adds a nice touch. So as I'm doing this, I'm thinking you could do it for the top little tenon piece too, and I think it would add a nice detail, and it would probably be easier to line the grain and the threads back up afterwards. So I just made the little disc, you know, bigger than the bronze rings, and I am just creating a little shelf in there for it to sit in. So with this, you know, this is sped up quite a bit. Just take your time, make sure it's a nice fit in there. You don't want to oversize it. All right, now that I have that done, I went in and put the lid back up against it and started burning it with the wire burner, or with the wood burner. So I'll have a link down below. I got asked last time which wood burner I have. I have the Burn Master, and I will have a link down below in the description to it. So I'm using all 48 on the indexing system on the lathe. It's right on the back side there is where I tighten it up. And this is just kind of a long process, so this is all sped up too. And just went ahead and used all of the indexing holes and went around it. So now that we have that done, we can go ahead and finish off the bottom of this. So we'll switch jaws here. At this point, I haven't put the threaded rings in yet. It's still just that wooden tenon or wooden recess there. We'll bring the tailstock back up. And because I couldn't get all the way around to the bottom and still have enough material to hollow it out, I'm going to put a couple more beads on the bottom of it before I cup it out. And then I can cup the bottom out so it sits nice and flat. And I'm using the EasyWood detailer for this. I do need to burn those new beads in between those new beads. So that's wire burner. Then I use the plain cards for the one that's on the face of it there. Then we can go back to the wood burner and finish burning those last 3 little beads there and just work your way around. So now we're going to work on the lid, and the same process with this. We're going to put it back in the chuck. I need to resize that tenon now because that was the 1.5 inch size, and we need to bring that down to the inside diameter of the rings. So again, we'll use the calipers here and get it all sized. And then that little tenon, we're going to be able to grab that with the chuck and finish off the top of it. I'm going to put the pin jaws back in and grab a hold of that tenon. And same process on this one. I'm going to sort of bring this down to a little point there and then grab the beading tool again and finish those beads all the way up to the top. I did leave a little button on top, pretty small one, right where that little point going in is. I just left that, and I'll color that in once we get to that point. So same thing on this, use the wire burner until it gets around the flat and then switch to the playing cards. So you can kind of see I have the chuck loose there, and when you do this, when you flip it around, I did the same thing on the base. You need to line the burner tip up with your grooves that you already burnt. So what you do is just kind of slide it up there and then tighten the chuck up when you get it in one of those grooves, because it's gonna be off a little bit. So you just kind of take your time and get that tight, and then you can finish off the rest of them. And there you can see that just a little button on top that I left. So to glue in the rings, it's 5-minute epoxy. Just mix it up in a Dixie cup, put a little bit on the recess, and then drop the ring down inside the base. I let that set up for about 15-20 minutes before doing the top, and then I just put a little bit on the tenon and went ahead and screwed it together. So at this point, just let it set up. Once you have everything lined up, whether you're lining up the grain or a pattern like this, and let it set for about 15-20 minutes, and then you can unscrew it. After it's set up, I went ahead and started coloring it. So this is a long process. This is just the first little square that I'm doing here. And then I went ahead and took it in the house, sat down and relaxed and started coloring it. It took me a few hours. So here is the finished piece, and I'm just gonna go ahead and fill in this little button on top, and it will be done, and we can get some walnut oil put on it. There we go, it is all done. So it's out of maple with the walnut oil finish and the threaded rings. So I am gonna do this next time, and I'm gonna make an insert with the tenon already on it and then a recess into the lid. And that way this will all be glued together, and this will be glued together. So all you have to do is put a little bit of glue after you set one side or the other in there, and then you can tighten the whole thing down. There's no chance of it like locking together or anything. So I'm gonna do another one here in a few weeks and try that out, because I really like the way that looks. It's a really nice accent to it. And if it was on both sides, I think it would look really cool too. So, and it might just be an easier way to do these threaded rings as far as getting the grain to line back up, or even a pattern like this. So there we go, and the basket illusion lines back up. Very nice. All right, it's a fun project. Coloring it just takes a long time. It just is what it is. It's 4 inches tall and 2.5 inches in diameter. All right, I hope everybody enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time.